It is an age-old question. Are cruisers just for laid-back riding around and cruising, ergo the name cruiser? Or can cruisers actually be really fast? The squid boys out there, of course, are going to scream, no, of course not. But can we prove them wrong? To answer that very question, join me as I pour over the specs of some of the fastest motorcycles made this year. And I'll share with you my current dream bike, which is one of these and could arguably be the fastest cruiser out there. So let's dig into it. Motorcycle cruisers have always had a special appeal to them. The combination of power and style and comfort, it's hard to resist. Whether you're a seasoned rider or just starting out, there's something about cruisers that just makes you want to hit the open road and take in the scenery. But in this video, we're going to explore the world of motorcycle cruisers a bit deeper. And more specifically, we're going to find out the brands that had surprisingly fast cruisers over this past year. But before we dive into that, let's talk about what makes cruisers so unique. From their laid-back riding position to their traditional styling, cruisers are all about the motorcycle branded experience. And for many riders, a large part of that experience comes from the thrill of the ride. So what about speed? I mean, speed definitely brings thrill to the ride, doesn't it? So can these comfy cruisers really hold their own when it comes to acceleration and top-end performance? One of the biggest misconceptions about cruisers is that they're slow, that they're only good for casual laid-back riding and they're no good for performance. But that's not really true. I mean, sure, cruisers may not be as lightweight and agile as sport bikes, but that does not mean they can't pack a punch when it comes to speed. In fact, many modern cruiser models are capable of reaching impressive speeds, with some even rivaling their sport bike counterparts. So what's the truth behind the myth that cruisers are slow? Is it just a case of mistaken identity? Is it the riders that ride them, or is there something more to it? Let's take a closer look at the numbers. If we compare the performance metrics of various modern cruiser models, we can start to see a pattern emerge. Many of the top cruiser brands are producing models that can reach speeds in excess of 120 miles per hour, or 130, or 140, or even faster. So what the heck is going on here? Are cruisers really as fast as sport bikes, or is there something else at play here? To find out, we need to dig even deeper into the world of modern motorcycle cruisers. When it comes to speed, there are a few key factors that come into play. First, there's the engine, more specifically, the horsepower and the torque that it produces. Then there's the gearing and the suspension and the aerodynamics, all of which can affect a bike's acceleration and top-end speed. So let's start with the engine. When we're talking about cruisers, we're talking about big V-twins or inline fours producing anywhere from 80 to over 150 horsepower. That's some serious power, especially when you consider some of the heavy weights of these bikes. Now let's talk about the gearing. Cruiser motorcycles often have longer gearing ratios, which can affect their acceleration and top-end speed. But that doesn't mean they can't be quick off the line. Some cruisers can go 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, which is impressive by anybody's standards. Then we have suspension and aerodynamics. These are critical factors when it comes to high-speed riding, as they can affect the bike's stability and handling. Modern cruisers often feature advanced suspension systems and sleek aerodynamic bodywork, which can help them cut through the air with relative ease. So with all these factors in mind, let's take a closer look at some of the fastest motorcycle cruisers produced over this past year. This is by no means an exhaustive list, and I invite you to mention any that we may miss in the comments below. But we've got some speedy models to look at, from Harley Davidson, Ducati, Triumph, Indian, all vying for that top spot. First up, we have Indian Motorcycle's Scout Bobber with its 1,133cc V-twin engine producing 100 horsepower and 72 pound-foot of torque. With its low seat height and agile handling, the Scout Bobber is capable of hitting 128 miles per hour, and it can go from 0 to 60 in just 4 seconds. It's the smallest and lightest model in the Indian lineup, making it pretty sporty, and it's also pretty affordable. I've sat on one of these, and comfort-wise, it's not the best thing I've ever sat on. Its unique design puts you in a little bit of a strained body position, in my personal opinion, but it is pretty quick. Next is a couple of bikes from Harley Davidson's CVO series. The 2024 CVO Street Glide and the CVO Road Glide are both big, cushy American V-twin cruisers that belie their underlying speed. In 2023, Harley replaced the CVO's 117 cubic inch V-twins with the 121 Milwaukee 8 V-twins. These are the most advanced and highest displacement engines ever used in the CVOs, bumping performance drastically up to 139 pound-feet of torque and 115 horsepower. With its touring suspension and sleek bodywork, it's amazing that these bikes can reach up to 120 miles per hour. And those two CVOs are really impressive, but the 2024 CVO Road Glide ST could be the wildest CVO treated bagger out there, with a high output version of that aforementioned 121 V-twin engine. Also with a bunch of Screaming Eagle performance parts and powertrain upgrades that takes this crazy cruiser up to 145 pound-foot of torque and 127 horsepower. It is easily capable of going north of 120 miles per hour, but it is important to note that on these CVOs, 120 miles per hour is the limit because all of these CVOs are electronically governed for that top-end speed. Which begs the question, why keep making and outfitting these bikes with bigger and faster engines if you're not going to let them run? I wasn't able to find anything out there where someone had clocked these bikes ungoverned, but most speculate they could easily run over 130 miles per hour, and that's a lot of heavy metal flying down the highway. Now, you don't see many of this next bike on the road these days, and I'm really not sure why, although it is pretty darn expensive. But we would absolutely be remiss if we didn't list the Triumph Rocket 3R. This uniquely designed performance cruiser has the biggest motorcycle engine in the world. The 2,500cc inline 3-cylinder engine makes 165 horsepower. Most prominent part of the Triumph Rocket 3 is its engine, which gives the motorcycle kind of an extended look. The Rocket 3R can reach speeds of 139.8 miles per hour and go from 0 to 60 in just 2.73 seconds. And you might be asking yourself, how is it that the cruiser with the biggest engine in the world isn't the fastest out there? Well, that would be because this bad boy is electronically restricted from going any faster than, yep, you guessed it, 139.8 miles per hour. How fast can it go ungoverned? I'd be scared to know. But wait, we've got another Harley Davidson model that we have to mention. This is a cruiser list after all. I mean, you didn't think you'd seen the last of Harley Davidson, did you? Way up on the speedy cruiser list is the Harley Davidson Sportster S. Harley overhauled its Sport Series, adding some modern performance touches and lots more cutting-edge technology. Specifically, this bike is running HD's somewhat controversial of late Revolution Max engine. The 1,252cc RevMax 1250T engine makes 121 horsepower and 93 pound-foot of torque, and it can propel this Sportster S from 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, and it can take it onward after that all the way up to 142 miles per hour. The bike's performance is largely influenced by its lightweight design and agile handling. Its acceleration and power to weight ratio contribute to the impressive performance that it has for a cruiser style motorcycle. It makes it a fast and responsive option in Harley Davidson's lineup. All right, last but certainly not least, we have the Ducati XDiavel. This sleek Italian cruiser launched in 2016 as Ducati's fastest accelerating motorcycle, largely due to the low profile, the long wheelbase, and the max power it produces in the low end of the power band. It boasts a 1,262cc V-twin engine, producing 152 horsepower and 95 pound-foot of torque. With its advanced suspension and aerodynamics, the XDiavel S specifically can reach speeds over 150 miles per hour, and it goes from 0 to 60 in just 2.9 seconds. And while the XDiavel is more of a laid-back cruiser, despite all of that blazing speed, the original Diavel 1260S runs the Testastretta V-twin engine that will take it from 0 to 60 in under 2.6 seconds, with a top speed of 159 miles per hour. And on top of all of that, Ducati has recently come out with a new Diavel V4, which uses Ducati's next-gen V4 Gran Turismo engine, which is even faster. But we're sticking with the XDiavel S because it represents more of the traditional cruiser performance and styling. If you've been staying with us throughout this list, you can see the clear frontrunner here. But let me refresh your memory on what we've gone over so far. And as we run down the numbers, you can see, yeah, the winner is clear. And like we alluded to at the beginning of the video, this XDiavel S is my current dream bike, which I hope to pick up at a reasonable price in the secondhand market sometime in the not so distant future, I hope. Yeah, this cruiser definitely takes home the top prize with a blistering top speed, of 150 miles per hour. That's some serious performance, especially considering the XDiavel's comfortable, laid-back riding position. So there you have it. These are definitely some of the fastest motorcycle cruisers out there on the market this year. But what does that even all mean? Are cruisers as fast as sport bikes? Pfft, no, of course not. In fact, if you want to go check out some of the fastest bikes per brand, you can go check out this video right here, which we made a little bit earlier. And spoiler alert, they're all sport bikes. But hey, we definitely answered the question, can cruisers also be very fast? Hell yeah.
Hell yes.
In the end, it all comes back to the experience, whether you're cruising along, taking in the scenery, or carving up the twisties. There's just something special about riding a motorcycle. And with cruisers, you can have it all. Power, style, comfort, and performance. So guys, thanks for joining me on this ride. What do you think about the results? Let me know in the comments below which cruiser you'd choose, or if you think we missed some really prominent fast cruisers out there, tell the community all about it in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out all of our other motorcycle related content. Meanwhile, we'll keep bringing you along for the ride, and until then, we'll see you next time.